Okay, so Tim's never done anything with Builder, and my goal was to reach out to a developer and kind of go through everything from scratch, basically, so I can like feel out questions and like have more knowledge as we go along through this Builder.io journey of like what a developer is like going through this. So, Tim, thank you so much for joining me in this process, and hopefully it's useful for you too.
Expect stupid and annoying questions. I'm ready.
More than happy to.
Good.
Okay, so you start at Builder.io, and then we're going to go into getting started or get started. It's probably going to bring me directly into a space, so normally this wouldn't be the
Yeah, because you have
initial
an
screen.
account, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
because
before you push me into anything, give me the lowdown of why does Builder.io exist and
oh,
for who is
absolutely,
it?
yeah. So basically, if you've ever used a headless CMS, essentially, so Contentful, Sanity, you
Mhm.
name them, there's a ton of them. When you're designing those or like creating content with those, you're often jumping into the CMS side and putting like your blog text, your SEO image, your link, like all that stuff. And
Mhm.
then you have to take that into a website and design the website separately and like hope those two things kind of marry up as we go through the whole thing, right? And
Yeah.
so Builder's idea is why don't we allow you to like bring up a site and you can visually design it, but yet still have all that capability of like your own components or your own layout and like all of that stuff so your designers or your like marketers can actually use this as if they were on the page. And that's kind of the big difference on this one.
So it's custom code, but it feels like a rich text editor basically in your code. And then it's talking to headless CMSs or not.
So you can talk to other headless CMSs to pull data, but it
Hmm.
also has its own CMS built in. Like that's how it's
Oh,
storing kind of the
okay.
layout and like what page data you have and things like that.
Okay, so it's not really an orchestration tool of multiple CMSs you put in and then you fetch the data and do something. It's more like its
Right.
own system that might reach out to something, but it saves it on its own.
Correct. And you
Okay.
can reach out. Like I could pull from Sanity or Firebase or wherever I want
Hmm.
to pull from and get that data as well. But that's still going to be like a front end fetch that occurs to get that data.
Okay.
And so I could make like let's say you have all of your data, like we had all of our data in Sanity, and I want to grab my first top 10 posts. I can go in Builder, we can set that up and go fetch that. And then I can design in Builder those postcards, let's say. So you get all
Hmm.
10 cards.
Yeah.
So you can do it that way, or you can create those same posts in Builder, and that becomes your CMS. And then it's kind of more integrated at that
So it
point.
doesn't really matter where, like, so if I could have, like, I'm just asking these stupid questions to get it
No,
out
this
of
is
the way
good.
because my mind is in a different space still because
This
I
is totally
work on a
good.
different thing. So I could have 10 things in Sanity and then get these 10 into Builder, and then Builder would kind of store that data also combined with how I design it.
So the one thing, just clarity on this, a lot of other systems will say we can bring that data in, and what they do is
Yes,
copy it to their own
exactly.
CMS.
Hmm.
Builder's just going to make that call for you. Whether it's
Okay, so
server
it doesn't
side and
store
you're
it.
fetching it that way,
Mhm.
ideally it's probably on the client side and you're doing a static build type of thing. But that data, like, it's not copied over at that point. We don't need that data to run the visual editor at all.
Okay, cool.
Cool. All right, so let's jump back over to the screen here.
Yes. So to get started, there is no prerequisite. You just start designing.
Yeah, there's literally nothing. So here's kind of what you start with. Let me jump into a completely new. I'll just do a new space. I have my examples here. So this is the screen you would typically first get when
Hmm.
you come into Builder. So it's asking, do you want a Shopify style app or do you just want to jump into a new Builder space? I'm not going to go down the full e-commerce side. We'll just do this left side
Keep
today.
it
So
simple for now.
example for Tim.
Yeah.
So then when this pops up, it's doing all the creation of a new space, and I think it might even, yeah, okay. So it brings you just into a current model for a page. And so if we go look at this, so here's your add edit models content. So you can click right here. The only model we currently have is a page. And a page literally only has a title and description right now. You can make as many models as you want. You can call it different things. Like for CodingCat, I have podcasts, blog posts,
Okay, so
tutorial.
they're all page focused, I imagine. So they're not component focused.
But you can do component too. So this is the interesting part, and I'm gonna work on a blog. I started it about composability within Builder, because you can build from the atomic level, just a single component,
That's
and
what
build up from
it's
there.
interesting, right?
Yeah,
So could
and
it be
we can get into that too.
cool? Because what I would love to see is, imagine I have a storybook full of components already, because lots of clients have that.
Oh yeah.
Can I then just go atomic on that level into Builder and use these blocks I already own?
So there's two ways to do this, which is really interesting. You could take those current ones that you have, especially works really well with React. You can do it in all of the other frameworks too, but it's maybe biased for me because it's what I've been working with a lot.
Sure.
So you actually register those components, those custom ones that you've created with Builder, and then you can start dragging and dropping them as if they're your own components.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So there's some sort of configuration going on that now represents that same component in your code.
Exactly. Alternatively, like let's say you create a card component. Instead, like let's say your team didn't spend like the last 6 months working on those things.
Exactly. That
You could come into Builder and create what's called a symbol or a template, one of the two.
Yeah.
And you can actually create that directly in Builder, get it all laid out. And then the way a symbol works is you can actually take inputs into it. So if you want that card to have a different title, different description, all that stuff, it's designed in Builder. And basically that creates out a React component. It can be quick, like you can have the quick API, straight HTML, like anything it needs to represent.
Output HTML from the API for that thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting. Why not?
Yeah. So this is where it gets interesting, right?
So how granular can you go with Builder? Can you just change CSS and stuff?
Oh yeah. So let's
I don't know these
let's
things,
keep going.
so-
Let's keep going. I mean, you're gonna have so many aha moments, Tim. The first time I walked through it. So if anybody's listening, check out the podcast I did with Steve, the CEO and founder of Builder, because we walked through a decent amount of this too. But this is fun because someone who's never dealt with it, I love these questions.
Yeah, and also I'm working in this similar space, and I probably have opinions. So I'd love to see how they stack up. That's cool. I like it.
Okay, so like from a developer's perspective, the first thing you would probably do is come through this
Can
flow.
you show your screen again?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
No worries. There we go.
Let me know if you can't see that. But
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
okay.
Oh, so you can start with like a CLI.
Yeah, you can start completely with that, or kind of just a basic welcome. What we can do here, what this is gonna run is it'll essentially create a page for us, content piece, and stand up Next.js, I think is one of the options here. So let's do this. So you see here, basically what this is our public API that it's just providing out, saying go ahead and create this.
Oh, this is the ID for your project, basically.
Exactly. Yep. So it knows like what content to go create.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, let's do a Next.js.
Yeah, we kind of understand next, so let's do that.
Tim example.
Nice.
Yep.
I kind of like the fact that it has like the inquirer thing going on.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I'm actually wiring this up. Hopefully it'll be out somewhat soon. So you can do this directly with Vercel or Netlify or whatever.
Oh yeah, nice. So like a template kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like Sanity has. Yeah. So let's go ahead and say, yeah, let's run that.
Oh, by the way, what comes out of this? Is that like dynamic at runtime, or will it be a Jamstack site maybe? How does it work?
As far as like the Next.js site, you mean? Yeah, let's dive into that. Let's do this. So we'll bring up VS Code.
There we go.
So here's our next example. Basically what that command just did, it did a git clone of our Next.js simple
Sure.
stand up. I don't even know, I think, let's see, there's a lib maybe. I'm just trying to see where the ID actually comes into play. I don't know exactly. Maybe it's placed right in here. So let me bump this up
Also,
a
it's
little bit.
builder.getPage. So builder is some sort of instance of something somewhere that must have that ID.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see here. I think got built.
Oh
You know
yeah, so
what? It's
builder
probably
just
at the top. Yep, there it is.
so okay, so it's initialized here, and now
Yep.
it's actually you do register component. Ooh,
Yeah. So let's kind of break this down a little bit.
yeah,
So when I go into a page, so let me do a couple things here. Let me make sure node modules seem to be there, but let's just double check. Okay, I
based on the
think we're
speed, it's
good.
there. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we should be at localhost 3000. Things are up and running. So let's. Interesting. I don't know what this is.
Is there a package missing or something?
React 3. I'm not familiar with that. So let's see if that truly is completely broken or not. Might have to
Oh, so it
let the
actually
team
loads
know.
it in here. Oh, I like this.
Yeah, so this is actually going to bring up our localhost. And typically, like when you're first designing pages, if you didn't walk through this developer workflow, you would actually get a preview URL in here instead. But we pointed it directly at localhost.
Oh, okay, so the SDK allows you to kind of hook into these components to change things.
Yeah, and you can actually, I think it might be on the enterprise plan, but you can white label everything in here. Otherwise, we allow you to add plugins as well. So we have like a
Oh,
Cloudinary
very
plugin
cool.
to do all your images, and that's like at the editor level. From the actual like site level, you can do all of that by registering your own custom components and things there as well. So there's both flavors. We let you customize as much as possible. Okay. So we won't
Yeah,
get the cool shoes, but we'll figure that
I
out
get the
later.
gist. We'll figure it out.
Okay, so this, as you very well know, if I were to open up localhost 3000 out here, same thing is going to be there.
But without this inspect, oh, a corgi. This looks like my dog. It's so cute.
Yeah, so
You're winning
you'll
me over
notice
demo by demo.
what's that?
You're winning me over by showing a corgi.
Yeah, that's right. So the cool part is we know that there's builder components on here. So we do also provide this Chrome extension,
Oh,
which allows you
nice.
to go directly into the editor and edit where we're at.
So when you click edit now, it goes into builder.io, I imagine.
Exactly. It brings us right back into here. So that way, like any pages you have open and you're like, man, I can't find this in the CMS, boom, there you go. You're in.
Oh, and so it exposes some IDs and stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So cool. Let's take a look at the layers. So
Oh.
here are all the different layers in this, and everything that we teach is to be a responsive design, right? So
Of
teaching
course.
marketers to do that instead of taking your Figma file and going absolute pixel to this, like
Yeah, that's
we
hard.
don't design
Yeah,
that way, and
that's
that
true.
can be difficult, like for people to understand. But and that way you can kind of do things like
Oh, this is
this
cool. I like it.
immediately, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing, like let's say those shoes should have been here. I can just delete that out. If we don't like any of this, we can delete all that out. So I can just start like by this column right here. I can just delete it.
So let's delete that. And well, before you do that, can you just select this title and show me how granular we can be?
I'm gonna reload everything.
Yeah,
Something's
because the local
off.
host is playing a bit.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, not zoomed in again. Oh, that's fine. So how about you select that image, imagine your app superhero charged with, oh wait, oh wow, it is fancy.
Yeah, so like I can go into every part and piece, and let me double check our example. I haven't looked at it in a while. Let's see if there's any input ones. So yeah, let's check out this source code link. So to your example that you were talking about, like my company has all these components already. Well, you
Exactly.
can register them, and then if you come into this insert and show more, Everything down here will be custom. So there's different code components in here. It looks like we
And where are
have.
these components taken from?
So that's the wild part, right? Like we're
Hmm.
actually serving those through the Next.js app and exposing
Yeah.
them up so that this register part, when you say register component, is going to be registered with Builder.
So for the ID that you give on the initialization, it now knows that you're actually registering these components, even when you just run localhost without some CLI thing. Oh, that's
When you're in Builder, yes.
okay.
Yep. So it's essentially saying, hey, I've got these components that you can use to drag around and move and create
Oh,
your
of course, it
page.
will just check it at runtime.
There you go. Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. And that was my aha moment when I was talking with Steve. I'm
Now
like,
that's cool.
oh, I get it.
That's cool.
So actually, there's a couple things here I was surprised with. So hide from insert menu. Let's take that off because that's why I'm not seeing this one.
Oh, okay. Okay. So now it will, well,
Yeah.
shoot that now with, sorry, I'm just saying the same things over and over.
No, it's
Long
it's
week.
all good.
So with the hot module refresh of that change, you still need to refresh Builder, but I
I
guess
had to
normal people
refresh
won't be doing this.
because of the registration. That's
Hmm.
kind of the piece. There's a timing piece to that that's
Yeah, makes
synchronous.
sense.
So this is a great example though. It looks like we have a header example too, but I just want to show you. Let's drag in this open source code. So we go to edit and then you can actually, these are all of our inputs that we asked for that go into it. I'm not going to actually put anything in there because I don't know what it's looking for.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it at its core, but there's so many more like amazing things you can do with it.
How granular can you go? Can you change the color of that header one here?
Absolutely. You can change anything. So
Oh, wow.
here's
It's like
here's
a
the style.
full, holy. Okay, wait, let me just,
So so here's all of kind of the styling. And actually, Tim, if you want to play with this, we can actually interact within the editor.
inside the application. How
Yeah.
about that?
So let me jump back. Let me refresh, make sure I'm on the right page.
Oh,
Sometimes
and
I
then
have
you
so many
can,
spaces going
yeah,
lately. It's
sure.
like
So you can send me an invite.
I can. So I will add a new user. Yeah, and this way, like you can actually work with designers as well while you're kind of
Hmm.
playing around, and you can like be in a Figma file going, why doesn't this line up? And like you can drag a box and like change color. So you asked about the color change. Here's me going from like blue to red or orange. So there's kind of how to change your styling. You can change max widths,
Oh,
anything.
wow. Okay, so so it now told me my password was changed. You can now sign in with your new password. I just want to click and work with you. Screen here for the stream as
Yeah,
well.
go ahead. You change it. I won't. I
Yeah, but
won't.
just
I
share
won't
your
touch
screen.
anything.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, here we
Hands
go.
off.
What shall I do?
So yeah, I'm following your cursor around too. So like we can have a meeting like this and talk and
So
like
I just
check things
changed.
out.
Oh, there it is. Oh,
Yep.
nice.
So you get all that niceness as you're designing too, which is great, especially like remote work. If two people are like trying to update the same thing and you're working through it.
Oh, wait. I'm just having a look into like how this works with CSS related stuff and how much I can destroy it, which I like.
Yeah, and the cool part is like you can make anything in here too.
Hmm.
So let's delete some things. I know you love the corgi, but let's
Oh
just
no, we're
go.
deleting the corgi. Yeah, that's fine. It is what it is.
Let's just kind of even go down to just like maybe that header, and let's just try out some stuff. So if you want to insert, what I always end up doing, there is section, but I typically start people on kind of a Flexbox layout. So I'll drop a box in
Oh,
that goes
cool.
that goes full like that. And then usually like if you want a couple boxes to do different things, I'll drop those in. And then now I'm at this level, like you could name it panel or header or whatever you want to name it. And
Oh
then you
yeah,
can actually
box, box,
start
box.
dropping images in too. So that
And
image is
then you
in that
later on
box.
have to assign the image to something, I imagine.
Yeah, so when you click here, you can go to options and you can choose any of your images you have.
Oh, cool.
And now the cool part is we have a direct plugin for Cloudinary, but
Mhm.
there's limitless. Like you could plug into ImageX or just like
Sure.
this is actually the part that uses this is using our CMS. So this is Builder CMS providing these images behind a CDN. So same kind of thing.
Okay, so I have an annoying question.
Yeah.
What happens if, let's say, you get some of the data from, let's say, Contentful, and maybe some commerce data, and maybe some Cloudinary stuff, sure. And then at one point, I want to switch my front end up. What happens to Builder? Because you're kind of tightly coupled to all this. Plus, you're also storing data. Is there a way to be not so tightly coupled, or is that just the kind of the design of the thing?
So there's a couple of ways to kind of do that. I'm trying to think of a good way to example it
That's
out.
not meant to be something bad or good. It's just a choice you make as a tool.
Yeah, and
The
so
moment you,
there's two kind of ways to go about it too, right, Tim? You could go fetch that on the server side on Next.js, and you can actually pass it to Builder as data. Like you can do
Okay.
that statically or dynamically, however you want to do it. Or you could also do, like, let's say we wanted to repeat these image boxes. You can go to data over here and you can say connect data to anything. Like I can literally connect it out to any API we want to. And then I could have like several of these come in. I haven't done this in a minute, so bear with me, but we
Oh, but
can
that's interesting.
fetch.
So
Do
you
you have
could just,
a API that like your favorite like Cats API or something?
oh no, I wish. I don't really have something. But what is interesting is, so just thinking about while you search for, oh, you go to Harry Potter API or something, or Pokemon, whatever.
Yeah, I think I always usually do Y Combinator, Hacker News, I guess.
Oh yeah, sure. No, so the approach to Builder is basically you design first and you connect data later,
Yeah, there
right?
you go. I think you can do either. You can do
Okay.
it either way you want to. A lot of times we'll sit in here and kind of structure out a design with some fake data and then
hmm
go, okay, we're comfortable with it. Why don't we throw the API on it and boom, like then you have it all. Some other times you're like, well, I know I have to get these 3 data points in here. Might as well start with those and then we can work from there.
Oh
Maybe.
yeah, you are there. So I think you can literally just copy that second URL there, like the Pokemon
Oh, this
Ditto
one.
thing. Yeah, this probably works.
Okay, let's try that.
And the interesting thing is, I've never played with Pokemon cards ever.
My
Even
son's
though
addicted.
I'm in the right age group as an elder millennial to have played with them, but I just didn't.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
same. You and I are about the same age, so.
Yeah. Oh, so that works.
So we have kind of our data hooked up to this entire page, and what we can do is say, okay, on this image box layer, let's go ahead and bind to this. So let's repeat a box for every, I don't know what we have here, type, for every type of Pokemon. Let's go ahead and repeat this box. And then we'll stick some text inside of it. And then that text we can hook up to a new data binding. So we'll get text from a Pokemon. Is there a name? Wow, there's so much.
Yeah, and this is where you get in trouble when these APIs are kind of just not super clean.
Yeah, yeah.
So is there a way
So there's our
in this?
name of
Oh,
Ditto.
that does work though. So
Um,
is there a way to also map data a bit nicer before it goes into this interface, or do you just do that yourself?
So the other way that you can do it, and the way I usually suggest for people to do it, so you don't have to do so much client side, is
Mhm.
to pull this in on their like Next.js. And
Oh, I'd
so
love to see how that works.
the way that you can do that, so basically right here, so here's your get static props that you
Exactly.
have.
hmm
So we are at the first thing that we have to do here to connect up to him is to say, okay, I need to look for the builder page that we're on based on the URL. So
Yeah,
when we go in
that
to look
makes
for the
sense.
URL, we can then go, and what this comes out as a developer, I don't get to show this often, but I'm sure you're kind of curious. The JSON for this, let me get off a block.
Yeah, so I
Here's the
would love
JSON that
actually
is
how that
provided
looks with
back.
CSS, for example.
So this is the full JSON, and there's one thing in here that we kind of remove because it gets very, very verbose, are these blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So those blocks that come through, we can look at one of them. So let's
You
say,
can in the API call, you can expand on that, and actually you get that data, right?
yeah, we could do a little console log if you want to look at the whole thing.
Yes.
So this is a representation of just one of those blocks in that full array.
Oh, okay, I get it now. You don't want to have like 1,000 of these.
Yeah.
In your, yeah.
It gets a little
Okay,
brutal.
so you literally have CSS like an object, and you can just inject it like CSS and JS with React, I imagine.
Yep, exactly.
That works.
So it just styles it out, and it's all broken down all into one simple builder component.
So do you have like a builder context so it knows about everything, or is that not even
Yep.
needed?
Absolutely. So there's a context and also like state that we can pass back and forth.
Okay.
So we got what? Static paths. Here's our page. What do we got here? Default
There's a
error.
builder component for the page
There you
model.
go. This,
And I imagine based on that page object, it finds which components you have locally and just dynamically renders them.
for the ones that you've registered that you're using, yep, exactly. And that's how the whole thing pieces together. But this builder component right here, that's kind of the magic of all this. It pulls in all of that JSON tree that we were just looking at and parses all those blocks and sets that up in your page. And that's kind of the full layout piece.
So for that thing that we just made with these two blocks and like the cat image that we had and then the ditto name, how does that look in HTML? What came out?
Yeah, that's a great question. So let's kind of do this again.
Oh yeah, we just remove. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, exactly.
So let's put that text box back in here.
Can you just drop the text box in the middle below the title? Or
Yeah,
do you
yep,
need to-
absolutely. So you can kind of, and actually we
nice.
have this X-ray mode too, so you can kind of see where
Ooh,
things
I
are.
like it.
And you can drop it like right there.
So you basically like redefine the alphabet of what layers are in HTML and CSS, which is kind of intense.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like the moment you realize like this can take all of the great parts of like WordPress that we used to have, but then take them down to this Next.js piece and that level and get the performance back and get the developers like back, so you can start creating React components the way you want them, and you glue all that together.
Yeah.
And like everybody's happy because now your marketing team can come in and they can do all this page stuff that they want. They publish it and it's ready to go. You can build static pages out of this. You can build server-side pages out of it. Like whatever you want. The world's your oyster. We're just going to lay it out for you and make it great, right?
So, okay, I have a couple of questions and it might be annoying, but I like those.
No, it's
How
cool.
about I have 1,000 product pages? How do I render these? Because I'm not going to design 1,000 pages.
Yeah, so there's
Probably.
yeah, there's a couple ways to go about it. I'll show you the first way is just click duplicate. You can go about it that way.
1,000 times? Yeah, okay.
You can do that, yeah, if you want them like specific like that. Otherwise,
Yeah.
what you can do is you can lay out that page, and then we have these other model types. So let's say, so we created data type. So actually, let me back up a minute. So we have section, so that can create like different areas of a page.
Oh, cool.
Data is just purely data, like that's back to your sanity or whatever you want to talk about there. And then page is the full page layout.
Yeah.
So if you said like I have all these products, which use our Shopify piece if you're going e-commerce with that whole conversation, because it adds this whole fun layer to it. But you can go into data.
Brands will want to do that, right?
What's that?
Brands will want to go that direction, still have this tool.
Absolutely.
But then also get away from it and make 1,000 based on the one design you just made.
Exactly. Yep. So you can set up different attributes within that page. So if your product has whatever a name and it has a price.
So this is a specific document model that you're creating now for whatever comes in from it through some API.
Yep, exactly. And so based on like, you can do so many things, and I'm not great at this part. So if you want like a part 2, like I'll bring someone else into this conversation. But You can actually do targeting as well. So this is probably similar to the company you're working with now, where your URL path can make some decisions, or you can add so many different like device things, path things, custom things, like any type of targeting you want to do, you can add it that way. Oops, I just messed that up, didn't I?
Yeah, something broke.
A little undo there.
Undo and redo, which
oh
is
yeah, so we have all your versions. We have a great CMS, like it works, but I guarantee people are already in a CMS of some kind.
Yeah.
So that's why we're always like, bring your own data, just use us for the design side of it. And that's that side. If you're starting greenfield, just use us.
Yeah, so basically that connection bar on the right where you map the data to your fields, that's how that would work for you.
Yeah, and so I was gonna break that down a little further for you. So that's one way. The other way, again, is we can pass data. So if we were to do that same kind of fetch over in here.
The screen again? I cannot see it.
Yeah, sorry. I love looking at your face, Tim. I keep taking
there it is. My fancy new camera.
So like, let's say we did that same, what were we doing? Pokemon in here?
Yeah.
What? Await, fetch, Pokemon. I don't even know if this would need anything. I don't think. Oops. Let me make this a string.
Quotes around it.
I think that's probably it.
Yeah, you just have to now do Pokemon.json as an await.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I always make that same thing happen like that. So exactly, and then Pokemon is Pokemon rest.json. Await though.
Yeah, I always mess that up too. So then we can ship that into our Next.js page as Pokemon. And again, you asked about those product pages. This is a great time to say, we have all this data. Here's our 10,000 product pages or whatever you might have. Go create those static paths.
Exactly. You do that here, but it's all by hand kind of, but that's fine.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, it's one way to do it, but I tell you what, for 10,000 pages, that's a easy trade-off to have your developer do one time.
Yes, exactly. Clearly.
So each page, so if you haven't used Next.js before, each page will set up that path, but it's also going to get static props. So every time we hit a path, it will also get the unique data for that path. And then you would pass that in just like we're passing in the Pokemon. So realistically, for this call, it's this shouldn't be the thing, unless Ditto is a single entry, maybe.
It probably is, because isn't that a character?
I think so. Let's see, you're testing my Pokemon knowledge here. My son would be like, of course it is.
Yeah, exactly. We're just two old dudes.
I know it. So yeah, I think since this is a single, it kind of makes sense. Typically what you would do on the static paths is you'd build out, 100 Pokemon pages, and then each page would come in with this, and you would go fetch that specific character on the Pokemon API.
So now you're returning this Pokemon as props, right?
Yep.
How does that now connect to that component we just made in Builder?
Yeah. So here's some of the fun part. So I pass Pokemon in props, if I could spell, into the page, and because that Builder page exists in here, what I can also do...
TypeScript interface now suddenly knows about Pokemons? That's interesting.
Yeah, so what I can do after that is I can actually set up my data side to this. So I can say, oh, by the way, I have this Pokemon data you can use up in your visual editor now too.
Oh, so it now this bubbles up again into the visual editor.
Yeah. So I think it would have dynamically loaded, but let me refresh everything just to see.
Just to be safe, yeah. We're doing kind of weird stuff now. So
yeah, totally.
Well, not weird, I just don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah. No, it's all good. It's just part of the process. So this might kind of be in the way, but let's take a look at our state. So here's our state, and we have this new object called Pokemon. Can you see that okay?
Ditto is his name. So
yeah,
cool.
So now we actually have access to this, and we can pass state anywhere we want. We can update state and send it around. So if we wanted to do, that name one would be a great example. So if we take this text, let's just remove all these repeats and stuff. Let's throw
Yeah,
new.
we don't need extra blocks.
Yeah, exactly. So let's throw that in. And now on this text block, what I'll do is create a new binding for the text and see how it already knows Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I would probably
You can
assume
even do
this is
state dot, what is it, name? Is that state dot name? Yep, state dot Pokemon dot name maybe.
I think this is probably the way to go, right? So in your code base, you deal with the data, and you bubble it up to here. So in the interface, you can deal with it. It's oh, you even have like a little
Oops.
test thing here. Oh, this is cool.
Yeah,
There you
so
go.
there's your Ditto name. And you can also link up like your link too. So if you wanted, instead of text, you go link. And then I think he has what? Location area? Maybe? I don't know if there's an actual link to this thing.
No, it doesn't look like it.
Well, just to pretend, you can put whatever. HTTPS link. So that would actually go on there. So when you click the text, it forwards on. So now, like some of the things that I actually do for our site, for CodingCat as an example, when I'm setting up this, I don't necessarily want direct links to things. I want to use NextLink because NextLink
exactly.
preloads everything and loads it up.
At the fetch, yeah.
So I have a custom component, and I can probably flip over to that. Let's see.
This will be the last thing because I have to talk to your colleague soon.
Yes, no problem. Let's see here. So let me jump into CodingCat and just show you this real quick. Let's do a podcast.
this
I
is
should have
your
picked your
website.
podcast. Yeah, this is my website. We're just converting it over.
Nice. Oh, look at that.
Got
Fancy.
preview mode on.
Yeah, and you have a new logo. That's cool too.
So
Or the
here's my
icon.
custom components. I have like all these cats and things. Like I can drag
you do.
AJ
I love
on,
it.
and there's AJ, right?
Whoa.
So those are SVG components that you can send out. And here's that next link piece. So when I drop a next link in, it actually takes in children. So we can pass child components into it as well. So if I want to put
truly the atomic level, right?
yeah, totally. And what I wanted to get to, and maybe we'll have a whole nother discussion around this, I could also design all of this, stop using like React components and create atomically just from Builder. And that was that whole card example. So that's kind of how that works too.
Just from Builder, Builder creates HTML for you.
Yes. Or Quick, the new, so you know Mishko Avery? He created Angular. He's our CTO now.
Oh, that's not a bad person to have.
Yeah, not too shabby, right? We got Adam Bradley working for Party Town. He came from Ionic, one of the founders of Ionic, or original devs on Ionic.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mishko is creating a whole new framework called Quick, and it's blazing fast. Like, it's ridiculous. So
Yeah, man, we're in the right
super fun.
time for this kind of stuff. Dude, thank you so much for showing me.
Thank you, Tim. Really appreciate it. Kind
Love
of
it.
fresh eyes on Builder, right?
Yeah, and it actually works as expected, and it does more than I thought, which is cool.
Awesome.